Very good morning everyone. In our previous video we have taken the topics multiple constructor in class, as well as I have explained explicit constructor and parameterized constructor. In our today's session we are going to learn how to pass default argument in one constructor. Default argument we have already passed in what? With function, right? So using the concept of default argument inside the constructor, we can pass any default values inside constructor. Now what is the concept of default argument? Default argument is nothing but when you are not going to pass any values while you call any function or constructor. In such cases it will consider that value as a default value. And there is one rule, if you remember, when I have explained function default argument with function, at that time only I have told you that when you pass default argument with function, at that time you need to give it from left to right. Suppose we have taken the example of calculating simple interest. In that condition what happens? If we are passing the value of n, in such cases we need to pass it as it is. But suppose if I want to pass the value of p, right, in such cases what I need to do? I need to pass the value of r and n. Consider the given situation. Suppose I have created one method si. Right now it is method, I am not talking about constructor, right? So suppose simple interest 1, this is the method I have declared. In such cases integer p equals to 5000, integer r equals to 10, and integer n equals to 2. This is the correct way to give to give argument to the function. Similarly, let me explain second correct way. Integer p comma integer r equals to 10 comma integer n equals to 2. So this is the second correct method or way through which you can pass argument to the function. Now si integer p comma integer r comma integer n equals to 2. So these three are the correct way to pass any default value to the variable while you call si function. But remember one thing, that suppose I want to pass the value of r default value of r, in such cases you also need to initialize the value of n. That means see, you void si1 integer p comma integer r equals to 10 and integer n. This is incorrect way to declare any value as a default value. Why? Because if you want to initialize the value of r, in such condition you compulsory need to initialize the value of n, and it should be from left to the right. So first of all I need to give the value of n, then I need to give the value of r, and then I need to give the value of p. But this is the incorrect way, right? Incorrect way છે. And this all are the correct way to pass argument to the function, right? So these three are the ways, correct ways through which you can pass the argument to the function, and this one is the incorrect way. Similarly, one more incorrect way is there, void si1 integer p equals to 5000. I have declared the value of p over here, right? But integer r and a, n. So this both are again the incorrect way. Why? Because if I want to initialize or I want to give the default value of variable p, in such cases compulsory I need to give the value of r and n. Similarly, in this cases, if I want to initialize the value of r by 10, in those cases I just need to initialize the value of n by some value. So these three are the correct way to pass the values with a default argument, and these two are the incorrect way to give our values through the default argument. But this is declared as a function. Now we need to just declare the constructor. And what would be the concept of constructor? The name of constructor must be the name of class. So over here, suppose inside class SI I can define constructor like this, right? So inside class SI I have declared one constructor having three default values, that means value of p, r and n I have passed with the constructor SI. So what does this mean? Suppose if I am not going to pass the value of p, r and n, in those cases it will automatically pass the value of p by 5000, r by 10 and n by 2. And suppose if when you call SI constructor, right, or when you pass some parameters with the SI constructor, in such cases it will return the calculation based on whatever value you have passed it from the main. Consider the given situation. I have used void main. With void main I have created one object S1, right? So if I am not going to pass any values inside S1, at that time it will return result based on the value of p by 5000, r by 10 and n by 2. But when I am going to pass the value like this, 2003 and number of years would be 2. So in these cases it will return the calculation based on the value of p equals to 2000, r equals to 3 and n equals to 2. So these are the rules which you need to follow when you create any function or any constructor as a default argument, right? The default argument must be from left to right, number 1. Number 2, if I want to initialize the value of r by some value, in those cases compulsory I need to initialize the value of n. And suppose from void main, if you are going to pass some values while you create the object of that class, at that time based on your value it will return the result. But suppose if I am not going to pass any values of the variable, in those cases it will consider the value of default variable. So let us develop the programs which are based on the concept of default argument. Example of default argument in constructor. Default argument inside the function we have already completed in our previous unit, right? Right now we are going to use the concept of default argument with constructor. Has include iostream dot h, has include conio dot h. I am going to create class called default underscore argument. Let us declare two public variables, integer a comma integer b. Default argument integer m integer n. Right now I have taken very simple example of default argument with constructor a equals to m and b equals to n. This is the parameterized constructor. Don't forget, we have not taken default constructor because we have passed argument while we declare the constructor. So remember one thing, this is the parameterized constructor, and this parameterized constructor can be called using two ways. With one value I have passed, it will considered as a value of m, and with two values if I am passing, in such cases it will considered as those values, and if I am going to pass single value, it will considered as the value of m, and the default value of n would be of 25. Now void output I want to print the value of a and b, so \n value of a cout \n value of b b. Now void main, let us create the object of default argument class, and with object I need to pass either two value or single value. Cout \n default argument of variable b. Variable b value we are not going to pass with default argument, so d and 5. Over here you can see I have passed just the single value, so the value of m would be 5 and value of n would be 25. Over here only I have written cout statement, default argument of variable b is considered either b or n, right? Both are equal. Now let me call d dot output method to display the value of a and b variable. Cout \n passing simple argument of variable b. That means from void main only we are going to pass the value of b also, 5, 10. Now let us call d1 dot output. Let me save the program first. Program number D31. Let us execute the program. Error is coming. Class spelling is wrong, right? So in this way the program is executed. If you are not passing value from void main, in such cases it will consider the default value of b, and suppose if you are going to pass the value from void main, in those cases it will consider the simple value, whatever the value you have passed it from void main, that value is considered. So this is the concept of default argument, right, which you can apply with the constructor. Let us consider one new file. Calculate simple interest with default argument constructor. In that has include iostream.h, has include Antonio.h. I am going to create one class simple interest with default argument. So si underscore arg is the name of our class. Now keyword public, integer p comma r comma n, 3 variable we are going to declare. Over here you can use float data type also, but right now I have used integer value, right? Integer data type. Now let us create constructors si underscore arg, 3 variables I am going to declare, that is a integer b equals to 10 and c equals to 2. So see, this is the correct way which we have already discussed. So I am not going to discuss it right now, because this how to give default argument value, that thing we have already discussed in our notepad file, right? P equals to a, r equals to b and n equals to c. Over here the left hand side of equals to operator variables are known as the part of class, and these are the variables which are declared within the argument. So remember one thing, when you have declared any variable within the argument, the life of that variable would be up till this block. So after this block, the value of a, b and c would be erased from the memory, or we can say it will die from the memory. Now void output cout backslash n simple interest is, I want to make a bracket because as per the rule of BODMAS, the division performs first. So instead of division, we want to give it the priority for the multiplication. That's why I have applied brackets over here. Now it's time to develop void main structure, clr ACR and get ch. Let us create the object of simple interest arg class. S into bracket, I am going to pass single value, say for example 5000, and s dot output. Let me save the program first. Program number D32. You can use any program name to give your file or to save the program. Let us execute. Simple interest is $5,000. We have passed the value 5,000 over here. A equals to 5,000, B equals to 10 and C equals to 2. So 5,000 multiplied by 10, so 50,000. So it is the out of range. Why? Because what is the range of integer data type over here? Minus 32,000, right? So the calculation is 5,000 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 2, right? So multiplication is going to perform first, so it is more than the range of data type. So what we are going to do, I am going to just apply 500, or you can change data type over here also, right? See, now the calculation returns the perfect answer. So what is the output calculation? 500 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 2. So what would be the answer in such cases? 10,000. 10,000 divided by 100 would be of 100. So either you can change the data type. See, if I want to pass 5,000 over here, in those cases I just need to change the data type it by float and over here also I need to change the value of variable a, b and c by float. See, now answer comes properly because the range of float data type would be more than the size of integer, right? So this is the correction you can make. Or if you want to take integer data type, in those cases you just need to pass 500 or the value which are less than the 32,000. So this calculation would be less than 32,000 in those cases, right? Let us consider the last program of our today's session, which is based on the default argument applied to the constructor. Example of constructor with default argument. We need to include two header files, iostream.h and has include conio.h. Now class dynamic object, that is the name of our class. Public keyword integer a, b, c and one more variable which is data, which contains data type as a float. Let me create the default constructor of class a equals to 1, b equals to 2 and c equals to 3. Similarly, I want to use parameterized constructor within the same class as well as default argument inside the class, right? A equals to x, b equals to y and c equals to z. Similarly, I want to create same constructor with default argument, but I want to take different data type, that is float. Such thing can be possible. This is also called dynamic object. Dynamic object means what? The whatever the value you have passed within the function call or any object creation, right? At that time it will dynamically change the value of variable. I will explain it, but just let me complete the program. One void display method I need to declare to display the value of above variables. Two methods I am going to display. One display method contains the cout statement, which is based on the integer value. Value of a is a variable, cout. Value of b is b variable, cout. Value of c is and variable c. One more method I am going to create, that is display one. Inside display one we are going to print the value of a, b and d, right? Because d is a float variable. A is a, cout \n. Value of b is b and cout \n. Value of d is variable d. Now let us create the structure of void main. CLR get ch. Let us create the object of dynamic object class d1 D2 and D3. I am going to initialize the value of variable integer a equals to 20, b equals to 20, float d equals to 30.99 because we have declared that data type as a float. D1 equals to dynamic object, D1 dot display. Don't worry, I am going to explain the program. D2 equals to dynamic underscore object. In that I am going to pass the value of a and b. D2 dot display, and D3 equals to dynamic object a, b and d. D3 dot display 1. Let us save the program first. Let us execute the program. See, value of a, b and c, that is object d, right? So that value is called 1, 2 and 3. Then we have called the value of a, b and c, that is 10, 20. We have just passed the value of a and b only from the void main, right? But the default value of c is what? 30. And what is the third case? That is value of a, b and d. What is the value of d? That is 30.99. Why? Because we have declared that data type as a float data type. Let us understand the program. What code we have created over here? We have created one class name called dynamic object. Dynamic object means what? When you pass any values from void main, in such cases object is created dynamically. How? See, over here object does not contain any argument while you call constructor. Over here we have passed two arguments which contains data type integer, and this is the third object. With that we have passed float data type, right? So integer float would be in such cases. Now let us execute the program from void main. It will clear screen first. After that, in the memory only, they are going to initialize the value of a by 10 and value of b by 20, and the float data, the value of d by 30 sorry, 30.99. Now we have created three different objects of dynamic object class, that is D1, D2 and D3. In D1 we have just called the default constructor of class. So what is the value which we have stored inside default constructor of class? A by 1, b by 2 and c by 3. So object D1 contains the value of a, b and c variable 1, 2 and 3. So when you print the values of this three variable, we have called display function over here. So it will print the value of a, b and c in this cases, and value of a, b and c is what? 1, 2 and 3. Now consider the second situation. We have created one object called D2, right? With D2 I have passed two values. The value of a is 10 and value of b by 20. So it will first check that I have created any constructor with two argument. Let us see. No, we have not developed any constructor with two arguments, but yes, definitely over here we have used or we have developed one constructor having three arguments, but one argument we have declared it as a default argument. So when this particular constructor would be called, in that situation where you are going to pass two integer values, right? In that cases it will automatically consider the value of z by 30. So from void main I have passed value of two variables which is declared as integer, a as 10 and b as 20. So in this case it will call second constructor with 3 integer argument, and we have not passed any value of z, so it will considered as a default value, that is 30 in this cases. So it will print it will initialize the value of a by 10, b by 20, and the default value of z would be 30 in this cases. Now again we have called display function, so it will print the value of a, b and c by 10, 20 and 30. See over here, right? And now it is the time to execute third object, but in third object first argument is integer, second argument is integer, but third argument would be float. So it will call, see, both the values of this object would be different. In these cases 3 integer are there, and in these cases when you call such kind of function, when you call such kind of constructor, in such cases you need to have, or you need to develop that kind of constructor which contains first argument as integer, second argument as integer, and third argument as a float. So we have already developed such kind of constructor over here. Both are 3 argument constructor, but the number of argument would be same in these cases, but the data type would be different in these cases. So I have taken d variable as a float variable because the value of z would be float. So you need to take z and d both float, right? And from void main also you need to pass float value. Then I have called method display1 over here. Why display1? Because I want to print value of a, b and d. Display function will stores the value of a, b and c, or it will print the value of abc on the screen, and display1 function will print the value of a, b and d. So over here we have called the function display1. So this is the concept of constructor with default argument or dynamic object. Dynamic object means what? Sometimes we are going to pass single values when we call the constructor. Sometimes we have passed the integer number of arguments. Sometimes we have passed float number of arguments. So using this way also you can call the function, you can call constructor of class by passing the value inside the object. Now let me close these programs and let me share the notepad file for all the 3 programs which you need to write in the journal. This is the correct and incorrect method which is declared with the constructor with function or constructor and function with default argument. You can also write this in your journal so that when you at the time of exam or when you recall the concept at that time you are able to understand the concept. Over here we have taken the example of function, right? When you remove void, right, at that time it becomes constructor. So both are the equal conditions. You just need to understand how default argument works. Let me scroll down. This is the first program which is based on the default argument constructor. Let me scroll down the program. the second program of today's session, calculating simple interest using the concept of default argument. In this, I have told you that if you consider float data type, at that time you can perform calculations with large number, because the range of data type, integer data type would be less in this cases, right? So you need to take care that if you want to perform more calculations, at that time you need to consider float data type over here as well as with the simple interest argument. Let me scroll down. Over here I have taken integer data type, that's why I have passed rupees 500. That is the principal amount. And the default value of R and N would be 10 and 2 in such cases, and based on the default value of argument it will return the output. And this is the third program, constructor with default argument or example of dynamic object. Let me scroll down the program. This program is a bit lengthy, but it is very much easy to understand. We have created two display functions. One is for the display of integer values a, b and c, and one is declared as a integer plus float, because the data type of d variable is float. So this is more than enough for our today's session. In our today's session we have learned regarding the constructor with default argument. In our next video I am going to show how copy constructor works, right? Up till there, stay home, stay safe. Goodbye everyone.